Mr. Hidden Mind, 16, quiet signs. Your dog is trying to tell you something. Your dog has a way of speaking that almost nobody notices. Not with barking, not with tricks, not with the obvious behaviors people love to point out online. The real message is usually quieter than that. It shows up in where they place their body, in what changes when your mood changes, in the strange little habits that seem meaningless until you realize they happen at the exact same emotional moments. And that's the part most people miss. What looks like a tiny habit is often a clue to how safe your dog feels, how stressed they are, or how deeply they've learned to organize their world around you. That's why some of the behaviors people dismiss as random, clingy, dramatic, or rude are actually much more important than they seem. Tonight, we're breaking down 16 dog behaviors that can reveal trust, stress, attachment, and emotional regulation, and how to tell the difference between what's normal and what may need attention. Because once you understand the meaning underneath the behavior, you stop reacting to symptoms and start understanding the relationship. And before we begin, one important note. This isn't a diagnosis, but it can help you tell the difference between normal attachment and behavior that may need support. Let's start with one of the quietest signs of trust your dog gives every single day. 1. Why does your dog sit on your feet? Not beside you, not across the room. Your feet. That detail matters. To your dog, scent is not background information, it's identity, and your feet carry one of the strongest, most concentrated scent signatures on your body. So, when your dog sits on your feet, they may not just be looking for warmth. They may be placing themselves inside the strongest version of you they can find. But there's another layer. Contact can regulate the nervous system. Pressure can calm arousal. So, when your dog leans harder onto your feet during a noisy visit, a tense moment, or when strangers enter the house, that may be a form of self-soothing. It's a small behavior. The meaning isn't small. Practical clue. If your dog does this mostly in calm moments, it may be closeness. If they do it when the room changes, it may also be emotional anchoring. 2. Why does your dog growl when you wake them up? This one scares a lot of people, and sometimes it damages trust because owners take it personally, but often it isn't personal at all. A dog pulled suddenly out of deep sleep can react before full recognition kicks in. The body startles first. Understanding comes second. That's why the sequence matters. A brief growl, then blinking, softening, relaxing, sometimes a tail wag a second later. That pattern tells you something important. The first reaction may have been confusion, not rejection. Do not punish the moment before the brain catches up. What helps instead, use your voice first. Let your dog wake into your presence. Give them 1 second to orient before touching them. And here's the real distinction. An occasional sleep startle response is one thing. Frequent startling, confusion, pain sensitivity, or defensive behavior around rest is something else. That's when support matters more. 3. Why does your dog eat dirt? This behavior looks bizarre. But the answer is not always simple. Sometimes it's curiosity, sometimes boredom, sometimes digestive discomfort, sometimes stress, and sometimes it may reflect a physical issue that deserves attention. The mistake people make is treating all dirt eating like one category. It isn't. A dog who grabs a little soil once during a walk is not the same as a dog who repeatedly seeks it out, swallows large amounts, or does it during specific emotional states. Context changes everything. Does it happen in the yard after long periods of inactivity, during stressful moments, after meals alongside stomach issues, only in one area? That pattern matters more than the dirt itself. Practical insight. Before trying to correct the behavior, track it. Frequency, time, environment, what happened right before it. Because sometimes what looks like misbehavior is actually information. 4. Why does your dog sneeze while playing? This one is easy to overlook because it feels so random, but during rough, excited play, some dogs use sneezes almost like social punctuation. A reset cue, a way of keeping the interaction in the safe zone. Play can look intense from the outside, chasing, growling, body slamming, open mouths, fast movement. Without the right signals, that energy could escalate. The sneeze can interrupt that slide. It's a tiny way of saying, we're still good. And that's why socially skilled dogs often look so fluid in play. They don't just engage, they regulate. Try this the next time your dog gets overexcited. Pause the game for 2 seconds and watch carefully. Do they bow, shake off, sneeze, loosen their body? Then come back in softer. That transition tells you more than the wrestling itself. 5. Why does your dog only eat when you're nearby? You put the bowl down, they sniff it, walk away, then the second you sit nearby, they eat. A lot of people label this as picky behavior, but eating is vulnerable. The head lowers, awareness narrows, the body commits. And for some dogs, that only feels safe when their person is close. In other cases, it becomes routine conditioning. You near the bowl equals mealtime. You gone equals not yet. That sounds harmless, till life changes. Travel, boarding, a pet sitter, a new schedule, a hospital stay. Suddenly the dog, who only eats with you, present, has no emotional bridge into the routine. That's why this matters now, not later. Practical fix. Build flexibility slowly. Sit next to them at first, then a few feet away, then stand up briefly, then move in and out of the room for a second before returning. Confidence grows in layers, not pressure. 6. Why does your dog suddenly sprint around the house like something is wrong? The skidding turns, the wild eyes, the full speed loops through the hallway. And then, 10 minutes later, they're asleep like nothing happened. Usually nothing is wrong. Usually something has just been released. Dogs don't only build physical energy, they build emotional charge too. Excitement, frustration, anticipation, stress, relief. That's why these bursts often happen after baths, after guests leave, after being restrained, after a tense day, or late in the evening, when the nervous system finally gets an opening. It's not always too much energy. Sometimes it's emotional overflow finding an exit. And that changes how you respond. Instead of only thinking, my dog needs more exercise, ask, what has my dog been holding all day? Practical outlets that help more than people expect. Sniff walks, tug, short training sessions, food puzzles, scatter feeding, and decompression time after stimulating events. A dog that gets to discharge legally often explodes less randomly. 7. Why does your dog hide treats in your bed? Because your bed is not just a soft place. To your dog, it's one of the most important scent locations in the home. It holds your smell, your sleep, your routine, and your emotional presence. So when your dog hides a chew or treat there, they may be choosing what feels like the safest storage space available. That instinct is old, very old. Saving valuable food for later doesn't require a dramatic backstory. It just requires instinct plus opportunity. And yes, sometimes they genuinely forget where they hid it. Practical question, does your dog do this more when there are other pets around? When they get high-value chews? When they feel rushed? When they can't finish something in one sitting? Because hiding behavior often increases when resources feel uncertain, even if the uncertainty only exists in the dog's mind. The behavior looks funny. The logic behind it is solid. 8. Why does your dog whimper when you cry? This is one of the most emotional behaviors dogs show, and one of the easiest to oversimplify. Your dog may not understand your story. They may not know why you're upset, but they are extremely sensitive to change. Your breathing changes, your body posture changes, your voice changes, your rhythm changes. And many dogs respond to that shift immediately. Some come close and lean on you. Some lick, some whine, some pace, some bring a toy or object. Different dogs offer comfort in different dialects. But here's the important part. Not every dog responds with calm support. Some respond with agitation because your distress activates their own nervous system. That does not always mean less empathy. Sometimes it means less emotional capacity. That distinction matters. A dog who gets frantic around big human emotion may not be cold. They may simply be overwhelmed. 9. Why does your dog lie on your suitcase? Because dogs notice sequences, not just objects. Sequences, the suitcase appears, closet opens, shoes change, the routine shifts, your movements become fragmented, your attention starts leaving before your body does. Your dog learns that pattern, so when they lie on the suitcase, they may not be being dramatic. They may be trying to interrupt the first visible step in a chain that has meant separation before. And that's a critical difference because many owners focus only on what happens after they leave. But for some dogs, the stress starts long before the door closes. That's why the better question is not just, does my dog panic when I'm gone? It's, when does the change begin? At the suitcase, at the keys, at the shoes, at the jacket? That's where the real training often starts. 10. Why does your dog lick the air? An occasional air lick can be normal. Dogs investigate the world in very strange, very subtle ways. But repeated air licking is one of those behaviors worth slowing down for. Because it can show up around scent investigation, uncertainty, stress, nausea, reflux, dental discomfort, or other forms of unease. The behavior itself is small. The pattern around it matters more. So instead of asking only, why is my dog doing that? Ask, what happened right before it? Was there tension in the room? A visitor, a correction, a meal, a strange smell, a long stretch of lip licking and pacing beforehand? This is where careful observation becomes more useful than quick certainty. And this is exactly why the disclaimer matters. This isn't a diagnosis, but it can help you tell the difference between normal attachment and behavior that may need support. 11. Why does your dog sit with their back to you? A lot of people misread this as distance. In many cases, it means the opposite. A dog who turns their back to you and settles nearby may be showing a quiet form of trust. They are not keeping you under surveillance. They are not preparing to manage your next move. They are resting inside your space without needing to watch you every second. That's not dismissal, that's security. And when they lean their back into your leg or hip, that contact can work like a shared anchor. Your dog knows exactly where you are. They don't need to keep checking. There's also a beautiful variation of this, the dog who touches you while facing outward. That can look almost protective, not in a dramatic movie scene kind of way, in a quiet, watchful way. You behind me, I face the room. Trust often looks like that, not loud, not performative, just deeply settled. 12. Why does your dog steal food off the table? Because your dog does not automatically live by human ideas of property. What dogs understand much more clearly is this: can I reach it? Has this worked before? Was there a consequence in the moment? That's why stealing food is usually not a character issue. It's an access issue. And the guilty look afterward? Most of the time, that says more about your tone, your posture, and your reaction than about moral understanding. Dogs are brilliant readers of aftermath. They notice tension fast. Sharp voice, hard stare, quick movement. They learn when humans are upset, but that does not always mean they understand the exact rule in the abstract way we do. So, what actually works? Management first. Training second, delayed punishment almost never. Because correcting a dog long after the behavior happened usually teaches fear of your reaction, not clarity about the behavior itself. 13. Why does your dog howl when left alone? For some dogs, this is not just noise, it's a distress signal. Dogs are social by design, and for some individuals, separation does not feel neutral. It feels urgent, disorienting, unfinished. That's why howling can function almost like a contact call, a sound built to reach and reconnect. And here's the hopeful part. Many dogs don't vocalize equally for the entire absence. The peak often happens near the beginning, when the separation first lands. That tells you something important. The distress has a pattern, and patterns can be worked with. Support usually starts with very small, repeatable absences that stay below the dog's panic threshold. That's not dramatic exits, not forcing them to just get used to it, A dog cannot learn calm while overwhelmed. They learn calm when the experience stays manageable enough for the brain to take in something new. That distinction changes everything. 14. Why does your dog shake toys so violently? Because play is not random either. That side-to-side head whip, that intense grip, that full-body commitment, those are old motor patterns, deeply old. Your dog is not turning into something dangerous because they shook a toy. They are expressing instinct inside a safe outlet, and that matters because when instinct gets a legal place to go, behavior often improves everywhere else too. This is why the right toy can change more than one habit. Some dogs need to dissect, some need to chase, some need to tug, some need to carry. When owners match the activity to the instinct, the dog often looks better behaved. But what's really happening is simpler than that. The dog is finally getting to complete the patterns their nervous system was already asking for. 15. Why does your dog run from the camera? Imagine a silent object aimed straight at your face. It doesn't blink. It comes closer, it stays fixed, and sometimes a bright flash goes off from it. That's not automatically comfortable in dog language. Some dogs learn to tolerate cameras because cameras predict treats, praise, or attention. Others still find that direct lens deeply intrusive, especially up close. This is one of those moments where people accidentally choose content over connection. The photo matters, but the dog matters more. Try side angles, natural light, distance first. Let your dog move toward you instead of constantly stepping toward them. And if your dog freezes, looks away, lip licks, or leaves, that is communication too. The camera isn't the problem in every case, but your dog's comfort should still be the first clue you trust. 16. Why does your dog lick you? Most people reduce this to one word: affection. And yes, sometimes it is affection, but often it's more layered than that. Licking can be greeting, bonding, appeasement, information gathering, stress release, social grooming, reconnection after separation. A dog who licks your hands when you get home may be reading where you've been. A dog who licks your face after you cry may be responding to emotion, salt, closeness, and routine all at once. A dog who repeatedly licks one exact area may be worth paying attention to, especially if the focus is persistent or unusual. That's the deeper lesson in all of this. Dog behavior is rarely one-word behavior. It's layered, contextual, patterned, emotional, and easy to misunderstand if you only notice it once it becomes inconvenient. But most of the time, your dog is not just doing random things. They are adjusting, responding, reading the room, tracking your state, trying to create safety, trying to restore closeness, trying to organize their world around the relationship they have with you. And the message is usually not loud. It's quiet, it's consistent, it repeats in the same emotional moments. That's why understanding dogs changes more than dog behavior. It changes how you show up. You become less reactive, more observant, less offended, more curious, less focused on control, the more focused on communication. And that is where the relationship deepens. If this changed the way you see your dog, don't stop here. Watch more closely tomorrow. Notice where they place their body. Notice what changes when your mood changes. Notice the behavior that appears before the obvious behavior, because in a noisy world, the deepest bonds are often built through signals that never make a sound. This is Mr. Hidden Mind, where we learn to notice what others rush past. If you want more videos like this, subscribe. And in the comments, tell me the one behavior your dog does that you've never fully understood. Sometimes the quietest signs reveal the most.